So today we are going to start with Maths Chapter 11, Geometric Progression, GP. GP or Geometric Progression, which I have written here. So what is GP? So I'll show you a sequence. I uh, I think you remember what is sequence, right? I've explained it in the last video. Sequence is an arrangement of numbers written in a definite order according to a given certain rule, right? So I'll write a sequence for you here: 2, 6, 18, 54, and so on. One more sequence I'll write for you: 1 minus 1 by 2, then 1 by 4, then minus 1 by 8, and so on, right? Can you tell me what unique you find in these two sequences? What is that unique thing? Now, because you have done AP very well, so now you know that what is a sequence and what is a speciality about sequences of AP. In AP or arithmetic progression, you find the succeeding term by adding a fixed quantity, with the given term. So if you add a fixed quantity with the given term, you find the next term. Then you add the same fixed quantity to the next term and you find the next term, right? And you go on. And that gives you your AP, which is your special sequence. This here, which you see, is another kind of special sequence where you don't add numbers, you multiply numbers to get the next term in the sequence. Like suppose here you have got 2, right? So if you see the pattern, 2 plus 4 is 6, but 6 plus 12 is 18. So definitely a number is not added here to the current number to give the next number. So that is not a fixed rule. The fixed rule, which if you can look closely, you can make it out, that if you multiply a number to the given number, you get the next number. So 2 multiplied by 3 gives you 6. 6 multiplied by 3 gives you 18. 18 multiplied by 3 gives you 54. So this is geometric progression where a fixed number is multiplied with a given number to get the next number. Can you guess what is multiplied here in the second sequence? Here also something is getting multiplied. This is definitely not an AP. Can you think of a reason why this is not an AP? Because in an AP, if the first term is positive and the second is negative, then the third must be negative. But the third one is positive. Then the fourth one is negative. Then positive. Then negative. So alternate positive negative terms is also an indication of a sequence which is known as GP, geometric progression. And what is the reason behind this? Can you first tell me what can be multiplied with 1 to get minus 1 by 2? Yes, 1 into minus 1 by 2 will give you minus 1 by 2. Now minus 1 by 2 is my next term. Again I will multiply with the same fixed quantity. What will it give me? 1 by 4. Is 1 by 4 my third term? Yes, it is. Again I will take that third term and multiply it with minus 1 by 2. What will I get? Minus 1 by 8. Correct? So that gives you your GP. So what you have to understand in this GP is the first term has the same symbol, that is A. So in the first example, A is 2. But there is no common difference. right? There is no common difference. The number which is multiplied with the given term to get the next term is known as common ratio. Common ratio. So A is the first term, common ratio is equal to R. The symbol for common ratio is R. The symbol for first term is A, right? So common ratio. Can you tell me the common ratio in the first sequence or the first series? The common ratio is 3, right? 2 threes are 6, 6 threes are 18, 18 threes are 54, and so on. So the first term, R, common ratio 3. Now you know what is a GP. I'm going to tell you what is the general term of a GP. You know what is general term of an AP? General term of an AP is A plus N minus 1D. But general term of a GP is A into R raised to N minus 1. Little different from your formula of general term of AP. A is your first term, R is your common ratio, N is your number of term. Nth term we are taking it as A into R raised to N minus 1. So suppose we are taking example of this GP. What is the first term? 1. What is the common ratio? Minus 1 by 2. If I want to find the fourth term, which I already know, but if I want to find it with the help of formula, what will I do? A into R raised to N minus 1. So your first term is 1. R or common ratio is minus 1 by 2. The whole raised to N, which is the fourth term, minus 1. Right? So 1 into anything is the same number, minus 1 by 2 raised to 4 minus 1, which is 3, which gives you minus 1 by 8. So that is how you use the formula for nth term. Correct? Let's begin with the chapter. Question number 1. Find which of the following is GP. The first one is 2, 2 root 2, 4, 4 root 2. Is this a GP? How you can figure out whether a given sequence is a GP or not? So for finding that out, you need to verify whether there exists a common ratio or not. So how you can find the common ratio? So second term divided by first term. Sorry that. Okay, second term divided by first term will give you 2 root 2 divided by 2. What do you get? Root 2. Great. What is third term divided by second term? 4 divided by 2 root 2. 4 cuts with 2 and root 2 cuts with 2. You again get root 2. What is the fourth term divided by third term? 4 root 2 divided by 4. Again you get root 2. So since the common ratio is same, therefore it is a GP with common ratio root 2. So this is the method with which you can find whether a given sequence is a GP or not. Okay, so this is a GP. You have to try the second one, third one, and the fourth one. Answers are given in front of you, but you have to pause the video and solve these questions, just like how we used to do in the classroom, right? Once you are done, once you pause the video, you solve them, check your answers, you can go ahead to the second question. I'm just moving ahead to the second question. Okay, so this is the second question, not the first one, but it's okay. Find the eighth term of GP 5, 10, 20, and so on. Okay, now can you tell me what is the first term? First term is 5, A1, right? What is the second term? 10. What is the third term? 20. Now what we need to find is the common ratio. Very easy. A2 by A1, which is equal to the common ratio, which is 10 by 5, which is 2. So we got the common ratio. Now we need to find the eighth term. A8 is the eighth term. What is the formula? A into R raised to n minus 1. A is 5 multiplied by R is 2, the whole raised to n. N is 8, right? Because we have to find the eighth term. So 8 minus 1. So 5 into 2 raised to 7. What is 2 raised to 7? 2 multiplied by itself 7 times. 2, 2s are 4, 2s are 8, 2s are 16, 2s are 32, 2s are 64, 2s are 128. So 5 into 128. 5 into 128 will give you 8 5s are 40, 0, 4, 2s are 10, 14, 640, 640. Right, so eighth term is 640. Very easy, very simple, straightforward question. Okay, one more question. Find the 19th term of the series. Okay, 19th term. Now see, what is the series? Series is root 3 plus 1 by root 3 plus 1 by 3 root 3, right? Whenever you add plus sign between the numbers of your sequence, it becomes a series. That series can be some of the terms of an AP or some of the terms of an GP also. This is GP. Why is this a GP? Because there exists a common ratio, not common difference, right? So first we need to find what is this common ratio. What is the first term? Root 3. Second term 1 by root 3. Third term 1 by 3 root 3. Correct? So if you divide second term by first term, you can find the common ratio. Second term is 1 by root 3. First, I'm sorry, I've written second term upon second term. It should be second term upon first term. So 1 by root 3 upon root 3. 1 by root 3 upon root 3 is 1 by root 3 into root 3, which is 1 by 3. So this is your common ratio. Now you have to find the 19th term, right? A19. What will be the formula? A into R raised to n minus 1. N is 19. So A into R raised to 19 minus 1. That is A into R raised to 18. Okay, what is A? Root 3 multiplied by. What is common ratio? 1 by 3. The whole raised to 18. So this will become root 3 upon 3 raised to 18, because 1 by 3 the whole raised to 18 is nothing but 1 upon 3 raised to 18, and 1 upon 3 raised to 18 into root 3 is root 3 upon 3 raised to 18. No need to simplify or cancel this. This is the answer. Let's go to the next question. I hope you're noting these questions down, the questions which I'm solving for you. You just don't have to see the video, but you have to pause the video and solve it with me, right? If you can solve before me, very nice. But if you want to see the video, see the question, how it is solved by me, and then try, that is also fine. But you need to solve all the solved examples. Okay, next question. If the first two consecutive terms of a GP are 125 and 25, find the sixth term. So a GP has first term 125, second term 25, and so on. We have to find its sixth term. Sixth term. Okay. So let's find the common ratio. Common ratio will be second term upon first term, which is 1 by 5. Sixth term will be a into r raised to 6 minus 1, which is a into r raised to 5. What is the first term? 125. What is r, the common ratio? 1 by 5, the whole raised to 5. So this will become 125 upon 5 raised to 5. Now what is 125? 125 is 5 cube upon 5 raised to 5. I'm sorry, 5 raised to 5. So this will become 5 raised to 3 minus 5, or 5 raised to minus 2, or 1 upon 5 raised to 2, or 1 upon 25. So the sixth term is 1 upon 25. Very easy. Okay, next question. Find next three terms of the sequence 36, 12, 4. Very easy. The first term is 36, second term 12, third term 4. Therefore common ratio is A2 by A1. So 12 by 36, 1 by 3. So the common ratio is 1 by 3. Let's find the next three terms. What will be the fourth term? Fourth term, see, I can simply find it. What I'll do is I'll take my third term and multiply it with common ratio 1 by 3. So what is the third term? 4 into 1 by 3, which will be 4 by 3. Similarly, what will be the fifth term? 4 by 3 into 1 by 3, 4 by 9. Sixth term, 4 by 9 into 1 by 3, 4 by 27. Correct? Very easy. Let's go to the next question. Okay, we have successfully finished the first part. Now we are at the second part. Let's finish this second part also. Seems very simple, very easy. Let's do it. I hope you don't mind a big homework today, because we have not been doing class since a couple of days now, and you must be wanting to do a lot of homework now. Yes, I know it. Okay, so find which term of GP 3 minus 6 plus 12 minus 24 plus so on and on and on is minus 384. Now look at this GP a little differently, because this is given in terms of a series. Let's look at it in terms of a sequence. Actually it is 3 minus 6, 12, minus 24, and so on. This is the actual GP. I have removed that plus minus sign because 3 plus minus 6 plus 12 plus minus 24, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? Only thing, I'm writing all these terms separately. 3 I'm writing separately, then minus 6, then 12, then minus 24, and so on. So find which term of the GP is minus 384. Let's first write what is the common ratio in the first term. First term is 3. Common ratio is A2 by A1 minus 6 by 3, which is minus 2. Common ratio is minus 2. First term is 3. Let minus 384 be the nth term. We don't know which term it is. We have to find that. So let minus 384 be the nth term. What is the formula for nth term? Nth term is equal to A into R raised to n minus 1. So minus 384 is equal to A, which is 3, into R, which is minus 2, raised to n minus 1. Now this will be interesting to solve. Please pay attention. Minus 384 divided by 3 is equal to minus 2 raised to n upon minus 2 raised to 1. You understand which identity I have used here? A raised to m minus n is equal to A raised to m upon A raised to n. And that's how I've got this. Okay, let's solve this. So this will be 12, so minus 12 and then 8. Yeah, minus 128. Minus 128 is equal to minus 2 raised to n upon minus 2 raised to 1, which is minus 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply minus 2 to the other side. So minus 128 into minus 2 is equal to minus 2 raised to n. So what is minus 128? Minus 128, if you factorize, you get, okay, first let us cancel this negative sign so that the confusion is gone. Now tell me, what is 128? 128 is nothing but 2 raised to 6 or 7. Let's find it out. 2 2s are 4, 2s are 8, 2s are 16, 2s are 32, 2s are 64, 2s are 128, 2 raised to 7, right? Multiplied by 2 raised to 1 is equal to minus 2 raised to n. Okay, so here you get 2 raised to 8. Which identity I have used? A raised to m into A raised to n is equal to A raised to m plus n is equal to minus 2 raised to n. Now I'll just I just want to recollect some things here. Minus 2 raised to 8 is equal to 2 raised to 8. It's the same thing. You know why? Because a negative number raised with an even power will give you a positive number. So minus 2 raised to 8 and 2 raised to 8 will both give you the same answer. So can I write 2 raised to 8 as minus 2 raised to 8, and here I've got minus 2 raised to n, and therefore since the bases are same, the powers will also be same. So n is equal to 8, right? So the final answer will be minus 384 is 8th term of the GP. Minus 384 is 8th term of the GP. Very interesting question. Let's go ahead. Find the GP whose 5th term is 48 and 8th term is 384. Good one. 5th term, A5 is equal to 48. 8th term, A8 is equal to 384. What is 5th term? A into R raised to 5 minus 1, which is 4, is 48, right? What is 8th term? A into R raised to 7 is equal to 384. How can we solve this and find the GP? So the first thing which we can do over here is give the equations numbers, equation 1 and equation 2. Now recollect what we used to do in the similar scenario while we used to do GP. I'm sorry, AP. In AP, we used to solve the equations with the help of elimination by equating coefficients, simultaneous linear equations. But here we cannot do that, right? Because this is in multiplication. So see what I'm going to do. Dividing equation 2 by 1. Dividing equation 2 by 1. So a into r raised to 7 divided by a into r raised to 4 is equal to 384 upon 48. So a gets cancelled from both the sides, and r raised to 7 upon r raised to 4 can be written as r raised to 7 minus 4. Right? Now we have to simplify 384 upon 48. Hmm. 48 eights are, let's try this. 8 eights are 64. 6 8 fours are 32 plus 6 384. Right? So 48 eights are. So r raised to 7 minus 4 is equal to 8. That is r raised to 3 is equal to 8. And therefore r is equal to cube root of 8, which is 2. So we got r as 2. That is your common ratio. You got your common ratio. Now what? Now substituting r is equal to 2 in equation 1. So a into 2 raised to 4 is equal to 48. So a is equal to 48 upon 16. So a is 3. The first term is 3. Now since we have got the first term, we can find the GP. See, you know, in AP you have studied, just recollect, in AP you have studied the sequence as A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, and so on, right? This is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and so on. In GP also there is a sequence. If you see carefully, in GP also there is a sequence. And that sequence can be written as A into R, A into R square, A into R cube, and so on. So you know A and you know your R. That's how you can find the GP. So what is A? 3, and what is R? 2. So first term will be 3, then 3 into 2, 6, then 3 into 2 square, that is 3 into 4, 12, right? You just have to multiply 2 now. 12 twos are 24, 2s are 48, and so on. So this is your GP: 3, 6, 12, 24, 48, and so on. Right? So whenever two random terms of a GP are given, what you do is you put them in the formula and divide them to find the common ratio, and then using common ratio you substitute it in any one of the equation, and then you find the first term. And after finding the first term, what you do, you put the values in the formula, or you can say the sequence of GP, that is AR, AR square, AR cube, and so on. Right? Let's go to the next question. Okay, the next question is, if the third term of a GP is 4, find the product of its first 5 terms. Okay, so very interesting question. Just look at it very carefully. Third term of a GP is equal to 4. Now what is third term? Third term is AR square. You remember in the previous question I told you the sequence can be written as A into R, A into R square, A into R cube, and so on. So third term, for third term the power of R will be 1 less than 3, that is 2. So AR square is 4. Now you have to find the product of its first 5 terms. What is the product of the first 5 terms? Let's write here, product of the first 5 terms is equal to A into AR square, I'm sorry about that, into AR into AR square into AR cube into 1, 2, 3, 4, AR raised to 4. Okay, so how many times you see A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A raised to 5. And how many R's are there? So there is 1 R over here, plus 2, 3, plus 3, 6, plus 4, 10. So R raised to 10. Okay, can I write it as, this is very important, please see. Can I write it as A raised to 5 into R raised to 5 raised to 2? Yes, we can write it like that. A raised to 5 into R raised to 5 raised to 2. Or maybe we can simplify it. We can write it this way. A raised to 5 into R square, the whole raised to 5. Yeah, we can write this also. This is also not wrong. So basically it is A into R square the whole raised to 5. If you write it this way, it is not wrong. Right? So product of first 5 terms is A into R square the whole raised to 5. We already know what is A into R square. It is 4. So 4 raised to 5 is the product of first 5 terms. 4 raised to 5 is 1024. 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 is 1024. Right? So that's how you get this answer. Let's move to the next question. Next question is, the first term of GP is 1. Okay, the first term of GP means A is 1. The sum of its third and fifth term, A3 plus A5, is 90. find the common ratio of GP. Okay, A3 plus A5. How can I write A3? AR square plus how can I write fifth term A5? AR raised to 4, and that is 90. So if I take out AR square common, what will be left inside? 1 plus A is already out. I will be left with R square, right? Now what is A? So we know the value of A, which is 1. So 1 into R square bracket 1 plus R square is equal to 90. So I can write it as R square bracket 1 plus R square is equal to 90, right? Now this is really interesting. You can choose to solve it with the help of splitting the middle term, that is quadratic equation, or you can choose to directly solve it, but I recommend that you solve it with the help of quadratic equation, because here you are going to get double answer, right? And that double answer has to be explained. So for that you need to solve it with the help of quadratic equation, splitting the middle term, right? Okay, so R square plus R raised to 4 is 90. Now let R square is equal to X. So X plus X square is equal to 90. See, we will simplify this. So X square plus X minus 90 is equal to 0. Now this minus 90 will be split into two parts. Minus 90 will be split into two parts, such that the product of these two numbers will give you minus 90, and the sum or difference of these two factors of minus 90 will give you plus 1. So I know the right number, the right factors, that is 10 nines are right, but we want plus 1, so it will be plus 10 minus 9. Plus 10 into minus 9 is minus 90, and plus 10 minus 9 is plus 1. So this will be x square plus 10x minus 9x minus 90 is equal to 0. So x plus x bracket x plus 10 minus 9 bracket x plus 10 is equal to 0. So x plus 10 and x minus 9 is equal to 0. Therefore, x plus 10 is equal to 0, or x minus 9 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to minus 10, or x is equal to 9. But what is x? X is r square. Therefore, r square is equal to 10 minus 10, I'm sorry, or r square is equal to 9. But r square, that is a square of a number, cannot be negative, cannot be minus 10, right? Square of a number can never be negative. Therefore, r square is equal to 9, and therefore r is equal to root of 9, that is plus minus 3. Plus 3 square is 9 and minus 3 square is also 9. So root of 9 is plus minus 3. So you've got the value of r. That is common ratio. Correct? Now, once you have got the value of r, what you have to find? You had to find common ratio. That's it. So plus or minus 3. This is your final answer. Let's go to the next question. This is the last question of part B. Then we might start with part C as well today, or or yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We can do part C. Let's do this question. This is question number 10. Fourth, seventh, and 10th terms of a GP are A, B, and C respectively. Prove that B square is equal to AC. So fourth term of a GP is A. Okay. So A. Okay. So here there is a one issue that first term cannot be taken as small a because that is already been used over here. That letter. So let the first term of GP be capital A. Therefore, the GP will be AR square, AR cube. I'm sorry, I missed one term. AR square, AR cube, and so on. Now the fourth term is small a. So AR cube is equal to small a. And seventh term AR6 is equal to B. And 10th term AR9 is equal to C. And you have to prove that B square is equal to AC. So what is your left hand side? If you want to prove anything, you have to first write the left hand side or right hand side. B square, which is AR6, the whole square, which is A square into R raised to 12. And what is your right hand side? AC. Right? What is A? Small a? AR cube into C AR9, which is A square into R raised to 3 plus 9, which is 12. Therefore, B square is equal to AC. It is proved. Right? Very simple. Let's go to part C. We are starting with part C. If, just a moment, I don't see there is one question which is missing or what? I don't understand this. Just a moment, let me clarify. Okay, so the few questions which are there in this particular folder are not there in your textbook. So I have just segregated the questions which are there in your syllabus now. So this question is the next question, part C. We are in part C. This is the first question of part C. If for a GP, its pth, qth, and rth terms are A, B, and C respectively, prove that A raised to Q minus R into B raised to R minus P into C raised to P minus Q is equal to 1. So let the first term of the GP be A and common ratio be R. First term capital A, common ratio R. Why did I take capital A? Because we already know that the pth term is small a. So we cannot use small a in this question. Now what they have given is the pth term of the GP, that is AP, right? Pth term AP is equal to small a. Now how to write the pth term? A into R raised to P minus 1 is equal to small a. Pth term. And this is the first equation. Similarly, the qth term, A into R raised to Q minus 1 is equal to B. And the rth term, Okay, there is one more catch because rth term has the letter R in it. So we cannot use common ratio as small r. We have to use it as capital R. Let's change it, no problem. So common ratio is capital R. So there are two more places where we are going to change it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so capital R, capital R. So pth term is A, qth term is B, and rth term A into R raised to small r minus 1 is C. These are the three given equations. If for a GP, it's pth term, qth term, and rth term are A, B, and C, prove that small a raised to q minus r into small b raised to r minus p into small c raised to p minus q is equal to 1. Okay, so let's write this thing, that LHS, which we need to prove separately. A raised to q minus r into b raised to r minus p into c raised to p minus q. What is the value of small a? Look here, the value of small a is capital A into r raised to p minus 1, the whole raised to q minus r, right? Because I just replaced that small a with capital A into capital R into p minus 1 raised to p minus 1, and q minus r was there in power, so I kept it as it is. Now I will replace b, capital A into r raised to q minus 1, the whole raised to r minus p, multiplied by capital A, I am replacing C, capital A into r raised to r minus 1, small r minus 1, raised to small r minus p. Okay, now the big task is we have to simplify this, expand this. Okay, so see this power, suppose you have got a raised to, or a into b raised to c, the whole raised to uh, let me take m here. Okay, a raised to b raised to m, the whole raised to n. You know how to simplify this? A raised to n into b raised to mn. So this power n got distributed over the powers of a and b, and with m it got multiplied. Very simple exponents law we are going to apply over here and simplify this. Okay, so capital A raised to q minus r into r raised to p minus 1 into q minus r, right, multiplied by capital A raised to r minus p into r raised to q minus 1 into r minus p, multiplied by capital A raised to r minus p into capital R raised to r minus 1 into r minus p. Now what we'll do is we'll bring all the terms whose base is capital A together and all the terms whose base is capital R together, and that's going to be a huge one to write. Let's draw a line over here, right? Let's start. So capital A raised to q minus r into capital A raised to r minus p into capital A raised to r Hey, how can I got 2r minus p? The last one was p minus q. See, again I made a mistake here. Oops, I had to delete this and this. Okay, so here it will be r minus p, and here it will be p minus q. So p minus q, p minus q. Okay, so capital A raised to p minus q. Okay, so we have got the three terms with base A, now with base R. Okay, R raised to p minus 1 r raised to p minus 1, okay, into q minus r into r raised to q minus 1 into r minus p into r raised to r minus 1 into p minus q. Okay, let's add the powers of A. It will be q minus r plus r minus p plus p minus q, right? Because you know that a raised to m into a raised to n is a raised to m plus n, the law of exponent. Here the powers of r will be added. So r raised to p minus 1 into q minus r plus q minus 1 into r minus p plus r minus 1 into p minus q. So minus r plus r gets cancelled here, minus p plus p minus q plus q. So a raised to 0 into r raised to p bracket q minus r minus 1 bracket q minus r. I need more space here. This is getting really cramped up. So difficult to understand for you. I don't want it to be like that. Let me write it properly. So a raised to 0. A raised to 0 multiplied by r raised to, I'm going to multiply the binomials here, p minus 1 into q minus r becomes, let me write the answer directly, pq minus pr minus q plus r. pq minus pr minus q plus r. Okay, plus q into r, that is qr, minus pq, qr minus pq minus r plus p, minus r plus p plus r into p, rp. See, I'm multiplying this r with this p, rp, and then r with minus q, minus rq minus p plus q. So this PQ will get cut with minus PQ, minus PR will get cut with plus RP, minus Q will get cut with plus Q, plus R will get cut with minus R, Plus QR will get cut with minus QR, and plus P will get cut with minus P. So A raised to 0 into R raised to 0, which is 1. Right? So you had to prove that small a raised to Q minus R into small b raised to R minus P into small c raised to P minus Q is equal to 1, which is proved. So LHS is equal to RHS. It was quite uh, not difficult, but you can say quite confusing in between, because there are so many powers. So this is the method with which you have to solve. First, you have to take the first term of a GP as capital A and common ratio as capital R. Why capital A and capital R? Because small a and small r are already used in the question. That is for indicating pth term and rth term, right? So you cannot use small a and small r. After writing the GP, that is the pth term, qth term, and rth term of the GP in terms of A, B, and C, you have to substitute the value of small a, small b, and small c in your LHS of the term which has to be proved, and then simplify. I can all tell that you just have to simplify after that. That's all I can tell. And this, what I have done here is showed you how to simplify. Please solve it once to get confidence, right? Next question, this is there in your syllabus. If small a, small b, and small c are in AP, yes, small, you read it right. They are in AP. So the questions here, the question which is in front of you here, it is a question of GP mixed with AP, combined question of both the chapters. If A, B, and C are in AP, where X, Y, and Z are in GP, prove that X raised to B minus C, comma Y raised to C minus A, and Z raised to A minus B is equal to 1. So we know one thing, A, B, and C are in AP, and X, Y, and Z are in GP. Okay, so how we can simplify this? That is the question. If A, B, and C are in AP, if A, B, and C are in AP, B is equal to A plus C divided by 2, which implies 2B is equal to A plus C. So that's one relation between A, B, and C which we can get. And if X, Y, and Z are in GP with common ratio R. Okay, do we have R in the question? We don't have any common ratio R in the question, right? So we can take with common ratio capital R, then you can write it as X into R and X into R square as the terms of GP, which implies that the first term is X, the second term, which is Y, is nothing but X into R, and the third term, which is Z, is X into R square, right? So the first term is X, second term is X into R, and third term is X into capital R square, X, XR, XR square. So these are the three terms of GP with common ratio capital R. Okay, now we have to prove something. Let's try to prove this. What is LHS? LHS is x raised to b minus c. Okay, there is no comma here. Okay, it's just a moment. We have to change this. Okay, so there is a multiplication sign, so I'm going to put a dot here, and here also there is a multiplication sign, so I'm going to keep a space and dot. Okay, that's your LHS. X raised to b minus c into y raised to c minus a into z raised to a minus b. So you know the relationship between a, b and c, and you know the relationship between x, y and z. Now what you have to do here is substitute the value of y and z in this equation and then simplify. X raised to b minus c into y. What is y? X into r. The whole raised to c minus a into z. What is z? X into r square. The whole raised to a minus b. So x raised to b minus c into x raised to c minus a into r raised to c minus a into x raised to a minus b into r raised to 2 bracket a minus b. Let's keep all the terms with power, or sorry, with base x together. X raised to b minus c, x raised to c minus a, and x raised to a minus b. Let's keep all the terms with r together. R raised to c minus a into r raised to 2 bracket a minus b. Let's add the powers of the common bases. B minus c plus c minus a plus a minus b into r raised to c minus a plus 2 bracket a minus b. So plus b minus b gets cancelled, plus a minus a plus c minus c. So x raised to 0 multiplied by x raised to 0 multiplied by r raised to c minus a plus 2a minus 2b. So x raised to 0, which is 1. Why I'm writing x raised to 0 again and again? Let me change it. X raised to 0 is 1. I'm sorry. Okay. So this will become r raised to c minus a plus 2a minus 2b. Can you recollect the relation between a, b and c? 2b is equal to a plus c. So I will directly write it as plus 2a minus a plus c in the bracket. So minus 2b, I'm keeping minus separate, and in place of 2b I'm writing a plus c. So it will be r raised to c minus a plus 2a minus a plus c. I'm sorry, minus c, because when we open the bracket the signs will change. So it will be minus c. Minus c plus c gets cancelled. Minus a is minus 2a plus 2a gets cancelled, and r raised to 0, which is 1, is left, which is equal to your RHS. So very much similar to the previous question, 11th question. This is also similar, but this is easier than question number 11, because that was too much of a mess over there in the exponents, the powers. Here just that AP thing was a little bit different. Okay, so that is your part C, which we have done. There are many questions which are there in this particular folder which are not in your syllabus, so we are going to omit them. But there is one topic which we have to study now, that is properties of GP. Let's do that. So what are the properties of GP? Okay, let's study this. On this particular topic, based on this particular topic, there are many questions in part C, exercise C. So please note this down carefully. Properties of GP. The first property, the ratio between the consecutive terms of a GP is always same. Ratio between consecutive terms of a GP is always same. And we know this. What is this ratio known as? It is known as common ratio, right? So that is always same between consecutive terms of GP. If A, B and C are in GP, if three numbers A, B and C are in GP, then B by A is equal to C by B, which implies that B square is equal to AC. The square of the middle term is equal to product of the first and third. And if it is given that B square minus AC, sorry, B square is equal to AC, then we can say that three terms A, B and C are in GP. If suppose there are three terms and they are in GP, if A, B and C are in GP, then if each term of this GP is multiplied or divided by the same non-zero number, the resulting series is also GP. Then AM, BM, CM, or A by M, B by M, or C and C by M, I'm sorry. And C by M, where M is not equal to 0, are also GP. Right? If three or more terms, or if a GP, all terms of a GP are multiplied or divided by the same non-zero numbers, then the resulting numbers are also in GP. The series obtained by taking reciprocals of the terms of a GP is also GP. So if if A, B and C are in GP, then 1 by A, 1 by B, and 1 by C are also in GP. If each term of a GP is raised to the same non-zero number, the resulting series is also GP. If A, B and C are in GP, then A raised to M, B raised to M and C raised to M are also in GP. Right? Sixth property, the first one of the sixth property, if the corresponding terms of two different GPs are multiplied together, the resulting series obtained is also a GP. Suppose let there be two GPs, AR, AR square, AR cube, and so on. Let there be another GP AR, two different GPs, altogether different, AR square, AR cube. So these are also terms of a GP, right? If these two if the terms of these two GPs, corresponding terms of these two GPs are multiplied together, what do we get? We get A into capital A, then we get AR into capital A into R, AR square into capital A, capital R square, and so on, is also a GP. So if corresponding terms of two different GPs are multiplied, then also you will get a GP. And similarly, if corresponding terms of two different GPs are divided, you also get a GP. So this AR square upon AR square, this sequence which you have got here is also a GP. So these are very important 6 properties of GP which you have studied. You might encounter questions based on these properties in the exercise, but that you will know only when you solve the exercise, right? So we have completed 3 parts today. Just a moment. We have completed 3 parts today, where first we understood what was GP, geometric progressions. Then we did solved examples based on GP, geometric progression. We did total, I think, 14 solved examples. No, 12 solved examples we did. Some of them were not part of your syllabus. So finish exercise 11A, B and C. That is your homework for today, and maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow I'm going to post a new video, right? So I'm going to see you in the next class, and we are going to finish this chapter in this particular week, and next week we are going to start with physics. So best of luck for that.